tonight's topic is mindset related. So I titled it The Mindset Shifts Needed to Sustain Healthy Habits. And this is to help us ladies train our minds to think differently so we can sustain these habits long term. So the mindset shifts, that's what we need to sustain these healthy habits. The first one that I want to bring up is progress over perfection. We have to let go of the all or nothing thinking. One imperfect step forward is still a step forward. So if that's, you got all your water in that week and you don't typically do, but you feel like you failed at workouts or healthy eating, okay. This is an imperfect journey, and we have to accept that, because the all or nothing thinking can put up blocks for you. We'll talk more about that. Remember that if you feel like you're failing, let's transition that to I'm learning. So let's go back to that water example. I got all my water in, but I didn't do well on my workouts. Okay. I learned this week. I did take a step forward. That's progress over perfection. And this coming week, I'm going to practice this for my workouts to see if I can make a step forward in my workouts. Okay, so we have to practice that mindset. All right, the next one is self-compassion fuels consistency. Okay, so that means beating yourself up doesn't lead to growth. It doesn't. No matter how many times you are telling yourself that you're not doing good enough, or I told you couldn't do this, self-talk, the negative self-talk. It leads to burnout, actually, because if you constantly feel like you're letting yourself down, you're going to feel exhausted mentally and emotionally. So talk to yourself like you would talk to a friend or someone that you care about, because we should care about ourselves, love ourselves. We should be our biggest advocate. So we need to talk to ourselves like we do care about ourselves, like a friend. Grace leads to more sustainable change than guilt ever will. So if you feel guilty because you didn't get that workout in, giving yourself grace for that is going to help you sustain that habit, not carrying that guilt throughout the whole freaking day because you didn't get up in time to get that workout in before work. So, just shake that hater off, and then get up the next morning and try it out. Okay, the next one, your worth isn't measured by your habits. I just touched on this. You're not bad for missing a workout or eating in a different way that week. You're not a bad person. You're not identifying as being bad or a failure just because you did that. Healthy habits are tools for support, not standards of your value. So just because you didn't do that workout doesn't mean you're less valuable. Just because you didn't eat healthy for over the weekend or the week doesn't mean you're less valuable. You are still valuable in the body you're in right now, presently at this time. You're still valuable even if you put on 20 pounds. You're still valuable even if you lost 20 pounds. You're the same. So we got to practice that. We shouldn't feel like we're bad. And I don't want to use language like that, because I hear it like I was bad this weekend. Let's not use language like that, because you're not bad. You just enjoyed eating a little differently, and that's okay. And then we just have to ask ourselves, is the choice that we made over the weekend, is it going to get us closer to the goal that we want or further away? It's not a bad or good decision. Okay, the next one. Focus on what's possible in this season, okay? Your capacity is going to change depending on your life's demands. If you have no kids, if you have 3 kids, the capacity can be different. your job demands. You could have a very high demanding job. You could have a not so high demanding job. So the capacity is different. And each of you have a different capacity on what you can handle in a day, in a week. And that is freaking okay, because that's the season you're in. So you got to meet yourself in the capacity that you can handle it. So ask yourself, what's the smallest, most doable step I can take today? What are the targets? We talked about it in targets. What are the targets that I can achieve today realistically? So if that is just getting a walk in that day, because in that day there's no time to schedule out a workout, no problem. Get a 10-minute walk in. The next day, can you get a workout? You think about that. Think about, what can I actually achieve? If we overplayed ourselves, or we have this high expectation on what we can accomplish, and not everybody's the same, and we shouldn't approach it like that, then overplaying ourselves is just going to create burnout, because you're constantly going to feel like you're failing, right? And then it circles back around like, oh, negative self-talk can creep in. So we need to think about the season we're in and focus on what is actually possible for us. Next, success includes showing up imperfectly. There will be messy days, okay, ladies? There's gonna be emotional days. There's gonna be days that it was a shit show, okay? Let's just be honest. Those do not cancel your progress. Okay, let's say this past weekend, because it was Easter weekend, let's say you just went balls to the wall, and you know, maybe the habits went out the door, and you're just like, oh my gosh, I really just lost it this weekend. Does that mean that it canceled out all the progress that you've made over the week, over the weeks, over the month? No, absolutely not. It's one freaking weekend. It's not a huge deal. Okay. So we have to remember that you're not going to be perfect. Being consistent doesn't mean being perfect. It means just keep showing back up. That means, okay, over that weekend, okay, I'm pulling myself back in, because I know that my healthy habits are helping me get to the goals that I want. It's going to help me show up better in life, in my job, with my kids. So that needs to be our focus, is that it's okay to be imperfect. It's okay to have messy days. The goal is to keep showing back up for ourselves. Okay, next. You're allowed to make yourself a priority. And this can go for any of us, but especially the moms, because guilt can come in to feel like that putting your needs, or it's not really putting your needs over your children, but it could feel like that. So you're allowed to make yourself a priority. Taking care of you isn't selfish. It's essential. It's essential. When you're well, you serve others from a place of fullness, right? When your cup is full, you can pour into others. That saying, right? So if you're empty, how are you going to show up in the people's lives around you, at your job, with your family, with your husband, with your kids? You can't. So you have to make yourself a priority. It's essential. So no guilt for making yourself a priority, and you have to practice that mindset that taking care of me is essential. Taking care of me is essential. Next, reframe setbacks as feedback. Now, I talked about that a minute ago. Reframe setbacks as feedback. A bad day isn't proof you can't do this. A bad day isn't proof you can't do this. Ask, What can I learn from this moment? Then move forward with curiosity, not criticism. Now, here is a very big takeaway from me, for me, curiosity. Every time that I might feel like things didn't go the way that I want them to, I approach it with curiosity. Okay, what could I've done different? What can I do different now? How can I make this possible? Why? Because we don't want to block ourselves from the goals. We can't say I can't, because we have no room for I can't. Okay, we can, but how can we make it happen? Do you want to do exercises to get to your goal? If it's weight loss, if it's building muscle, if it's just getting stronger, if it's just feeling better in your clothes, whatever the goal is for you, we know we need workouts, right? So if we have a week where we didn't get it in, okay, like I said, give yourself some grace and then say, curiosity, okay, how can I make this happen for me? Thinking about the capacity of the time constraints that we have. Okay, I know I can do 3. I can do them for 30 minutes. Okay, I know I can do that. I'm going to schedule them here. It's about curiosity. How can you make it happen? So when you feel like you're having setbacks, it's time to reevaluate what the priorities are and how you can make it possible for you. These are the most important mindset shifts that you are going to be able to condition for yourself for long-term success. The way that we live, and we are unique as a tribe, okay? The way that we live is for sustainability. It is not a diet. It is not quick results. If it's weight loss, if it's getting some muscle build, but if we're not establishing sustainable habits, and if we are not practicing the mindset skills that it takes to sustain these habits, then it is a diet. So we need to practice these mindset shifts. We need to practice sustainable habits, because this is a way of life for us. And we focus on whole food living. We focus on all the fundamentals of health, not just workouts, not just the food. We focus on sleep. We focus on stress. We focus on water. We focus on all the things that help us as a whole be healthier and more fit, so we can show up in our lives fullness.